Max, thanks for the time. I see production has not improved. Let's just talk through some of the difficulties that you faced during this quarter.
So, Godfrey, last time we spoke to the market in February, we guided to a softer start for 2018, and as you pointed out in your introduction, we had this softer start impacted further by some industrial relations issues around our Tongon mine in northern Ivory Coast, and some sequencing on the mining schedule in Loulo-Gounkoto, particularly the Yalea underground. But that's a sequencing point, and will come back out as we work through the sequence for the year. The Tongon impact, we have a recovery plan now settled, and it's on that basis we can say that we should get back to sort of between 280 and 290,000 ounces, which is close to the 290,000 ounces guidance. And then, of course, Kibali had a very good quarter ahead of guidance. So overall, we're comfortable that we're still on track to meet our full-year guidance as we guided at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. I'd imagine you guys hear about the Ebola outbreaks. Has you seen any interruption in the business because of it?
We are very mindful of that risk in our operations in DRC. As you understand, or I'm sure you do, that DRC is a very big country, and it's impossible to get from the current outbreak to our operations, even if you tried. You'd have to go out of the country to get back into the country. But having said that, we are always vigilant, and we have a disciplined approach to anyone coming in or leaving our site in the DRC. So, we already have installed procedures as we would have even if there was a threat in that region, which there's not.
Yeah, I was just looking at your share price now as we were talking, and I saw it at some point it was down 8%. I don't know whether the market is taking fright from the increase in your total costs, the cash cost per ounce production at $720 per ounce. That's up from $627. Do you have things under control on that front? What are challenges that you're facing there?
Yeah, I think, Godfrey, the point is that, Randgold is substantially profitable. We are a very focused company on profits. We've just earlier this week announced a 100% increase in our dividend on the back of a very successful 2017. Not detracting from the challenges we face, we are very comfortable that this quarter's results don't embed any weakness in our long-term value of the company. And again, the reference you make to the early trade performance on the market is, we've followed that as largely because it's a very thin trade and mostly electronic. Nowadays, a lot of these early responses are driven by the automatic trading. But I think, when we look at the volumes and the where the trades are coming from, we're pretty comfortable that no one's sort of packing their bags, to coin a phrase.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you're not packing your bags either out of Africa, but you do speak a lot about what Africa requires in order to be able to develop its resources sector. Talk to us about some of the challenges that you faced during this year, and perhaps some of your thoughts in terms of working with governments to try to make sure that you exploit those resources for the benefit, obviously, of your shareholders, but also for the peoples where you operate.
Yes, Godfrey, I mean, you're an African. You understand this. It's a big challenge to attract fixed long-term capital. At the same time, there's always that schizophrenia to try and balance budgets. And, sub-Saharan Africa needs investment. And, sometimes I think it's, not only, we're always quick to blame politicians, but, the rest of the world also needs to be cognizant of the fact that for Africa to take its real place in the world, it needs investment, it needs support, and otherwise you end up with a crisis, and we've seen that already, and poverty and lack of development and economic growth, feeds the fundamentalist religious movements and also drives illegal immigration. And so, you know, it's beholden on all of us. And the mining industry is the leader in long-term fixed investments in Africa. And you know, that's my mission, is to continue to encourage people to look to the long term and to work to deliver world-class businesses in Africa for the benefit of all the stakeholders, including the communities and the population of the host countries.
Yeah. Before we let you go, Mark, can you just talk to us about what you are doing in this coming year? What are you focusing on in terms of your operations? Are we seeing more expansion? Is it just a case of fixing where there have been issues, especially given the myriad of challenges that you faced in the previous one?
Yeah, I think, you know, this quarter, you know, everyone focuses on the short-term quarteritis points. But if you read the quarterly, we had a very good quarter as far as exploration results. We've a couple of quarters ago decided to reinvigorate and bring in a new team to focus on Tongon, which has currently got about 3.5 years life left. And the geology team that's been driving that exploration over the last 12 months or so has really come up with some very exciting new targets along the main structure that hosts the current deposit. So we're excited about Tongon. Loulo-Gounkoto continue to replace the ounces they mine, and Kibali, we can point to significant increases in the reserve base, you know, based on the work that we're doing. So, and in our presentation, we'll share with the market that our reserve grade, not only have we been able to replace the ounces we mine, but at the same and better grades. And so the quality of our business is very much intact. We have a 10-year profitable business plan. It makes money at the $1,000 long-term gold price. So, and now as is always, you know, we're in a consumptive industry, so we're always mining away our assets, and it's important that we continue to invest in replacing what we mine, and that's both through organic growth and exploration success. At the same time, we're always mindful of M&A opportunities.
Yeah. Mark, before you go, sorry, I've just remembered a question I was given by Gary Boyson right on air here, and you asked me to ask you about cryptocurrencies and their impact on gold. You know, they are seen as a store of value. Does that threaten gold at all? Does it worry you?
No, I think, you know, I think this whole cryptocurrency thing is, you know, as it sits today as a sort of an underworld currency, I refer to. I mean, you know, the importance of improving the ability to transact and you know, and modernize our banking system is definitely important. But I think to create some mumbo jumbo currency that's even less defendable than the current Keynesian, you know, monetary system is a little far-fetched. And I would just add, Godfrey, look at gold. You know, everyone's thought gold was, you know, going to be under pressure on quantitative easing, tightening, and you know, the increase in interest rates and the sudden improvement in the global economy. But gold has been very resilient, considering what's happening or the messaging. And I think, you know, it's still a store of real value, and I believe it will continue to be like that.